Keegan, what's happening, dude?
How you doing, man?
It's good
Good
to
to
see
see
you.
you.
The last time I saw you was in San Diego.
Yeah, yeah. That was a good little power hour right there.
It was good. I was like, dude, to be honest, I didn't like know anybody there, and I was like, I didn't even know I was going to that event, and I was like, Elias grabbed me from Fast. I would say
Yeah.
fast music, fast real estate, and he's like, there's this little thing. I'm on the advisory board, but I didn't know there's a little thing, so I got a little resentment popped up, and I'm like, and so we went to that thing, and I was like, I don't know. My sales manager is awesome. I'm like hanging out with my sales manager, and I'm like, ugh, dude, who are these people, right? And then you walked in.
Yeah.
I was like, I know that dude.
I know that guy. Yeah, I
I
felt the same way, bro. I felt the same way.
was like, I know that dude. But dude, man, yeah. Thanks for taking the time to sit here and talk to me. I think you have a really crazy. I don't know. I just really like your story. And first time I met you was in South Carolina, right?
Yeah, Charleston.
Yeah, and we were in a yeah, we're just doing that. That was a great event, man.
It was.
Um, and yeah, dude, I just heard you talk, and I was like, damn, dude. I was like, that dude's really smart. And there was a lot of really smart people in that room, I think. And
Yeah.
yeah, dude, let's get started, man. Can you just tell us who you are? Yeah, just give us your bio, man. Tell us who you are as far as career real estate goes right now. Then we'll get into the fun stuff a little bit later. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's good, man. Obviously, you see the name Keegan Siegfried, Paramount Home Group, HQ's out of Tampa. I've been doing this 13 years now, since I was 22. So basically, my entire adult life, and this is all I know, to be honest with you.
So how did you get started? So at 22,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna get into real estate. What did that look like, please?
Yeah, honestly, I was working at Nordstrom's, had no direction in life, and I got recruited by one of my clients who the only reason I took him serious is because he had an Amex Black Card, and so I knew that was something.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up taking another job working at a REIT, a real estate investment trust, close by. Loved it, loved the real estate side of things, hated sitting in a cubicle 75% of the time. And what's funny in business, and I'm sure you can understand this too, what my role was there was to put things into place to replace myself.
Wow.
And that's exactly what happened. So I was at that REIT for 9 months, did those things, replaced myself, got let go. That very first day got let go, went home, cried for an hour, called up the Amex Black guy, and he's like, "Come on, I got you." Had no idea what I was getting into. Come to find out, I had a guy who was 45 years in, over $1 billion in personal production. I was taken under his wing,
Wow.
and it was just me and him for 4 years.
What was his incentive to bring you on, or what was it like? Like, why should he care about the Nordstrom? Like, dude, go get my Ferragamos and bring it back to me. Like, why? Why does he? Why would he care about helping you or bringing you on? Tell me about that.
He needed an assistant, and
Yeah.
I was the driver slash assistant. And I think he had gone through a bunch of assistants before. He had done some. He had trained some big people, but he always tells me now I was his best student. And
Wow.
I those the early days, man. I took a 10% split my first year, 20% my second, and 30% my third and fourth. And I don't think I could offer anybody that today, but I would go back and do it again.
Wow, that's really great, man. I think.
Yeah.
So how long were you working with that person?
Almost 4 years. I did 200 transactions with him,
Wow.
and I was doing 50 a year for the first 4 years. And honestly, I would have stayed with him if he would have took my offer on 50-50, and I covered 50% of the overhead. And he said no.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay, dude, this is gonna be awesome. All right, so I'm gonna take a note on that. So, like, all right, how often? All right, let's. I want to talk about that, right? So you were with him for 4 years. You're crushing, and
Yep.
it came to a point. Do you think? And this has nothing to do with that person, right? I want to have a business conversation, right? So,
Yeah.
like, because I'm a business owner and
Yep.
also I'm a realtor, right? And separating those two in my brain does not come natural for me. It makes me very uncomfortable, actually. And I have to surround myself with people that I trust. Like, I have a business partner. I have a therapist. I have other people like you that I'll like call and be like, dude, am I thinking about this correctly?
Same,
Because
bro.
it's a lot of the what do they say? Like, don't step over the dollars to get to the pennies, you know? And a lot of times, ego gets involved, I think. For me, at least. Like, this is I'm like, dude, I have a partner who's like, dude, this isn't about you, dude. We're growing a business. And he has to, like, talk to me like that because I didn't understand at a certain point. So when that dude was like, you came to him, you're like, hey, man, I think what would be really fair is if we just do a 50-50 split. And I'm also, whatever it costs to generate whatever on my end, I'm willing to pay for, like, cover half the P&L on that as well. And then at that point, that person was like, no. And then what made you... So for me, where I'm at in my career is like, dude, I don't think there's anything more. There's like, it's like that book, Who, what is it? Like, Who, there's so many of them, right? Like, it's always a who, it's not a what, right? So those talented people, like my business partner, I met him and I was like, I gotta be in business with this guy. Like, I didn't know what it looked like. And then 6 months later, an opportunity came up, but like, what do you think the thinking process was, right? Because like letting someone like you go is like, you know, we're not here to gloat or have ego around it, but it's like, oh shit, that's somebody that, like, you're the person that would change that person's world, right? What do you think the thinking was? Like, he just couldn't see the big picture?
I think it was greed, right? You know, he had been the ego guy. He had been the guy his whole career. You know, he had never paid anybody more than 30%, but I don't think he ever had anybody do 200 deals in 4 years. And especially at my age either. You know, and I think he thought that I would need somebody like him. And interesting fact about all this is I was never allowed on the MLS that whole time, and I was never allowed to actually go in and fill out the contract myself.
Wow.
So his wife was the back end person. I had to middleman all the MLS searches and the contract terms.
Wow. So what? Okay, so that happens. So we're doing we're doing your like reverse resume right now. So then what? So what happened after that, dude? You're like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna go do something on my own. What do we go?
Yeah,
join brokerage,
I went to a 100% shop for a couple months. Got recruited by a KW, and accidentally started a team.
Mm-hmm.
Accidentally, I had a couple people start approaching me like, "Hey, will you train me? Will you train me?" And I'm like, "I guess, sure. I got good at this. I guess I can show you how." And then I realized as people started approaching me, I'm like, "Wait a second, like, I might have a higher calling here."
That's cool. And then when does it start, like, okay, so you're like, oh crap, I might be onto something here. I might have a higher calling. Like, I might, isn't it funny, man, when you become a leader, what I didn't realize is you become a curriculum creator. You become like seriously, dude, like creating curriculum constantly, right? Teaching, training. Like, I'm over here watching Simon Sinek like trainings to learn how to like speak to an audience, you know, things like that. So like we go from there. What when does it kind of get tell us, fast forward, what's your business look like now? And you're in different states, I believe, right? And you sell like I don't know. You tell me, man. Like
today, you know, fast forward, that was 2017, so fast forward 8 years. Holy crap, dude, that's crazy to say. Fast forward 8 years from there, you know, we're about 140 agents across 5 markets, 2 states, Florida and Illinois. So our market up there is Chicago, which we just launched back in May.
Congrats.
And thanks, man. Yeah, it was a big undertaking. We're doing I'm taking all my market leaders up to Chicago. So I'm doing the leadership retreat with them next week there.
Wow.
What a great city. But yeah, man. And then we've been able to attach a bunch of ancillaries to it with mortgage, insurance, title, you know, working on a couple more that I'm really excited about. So it's been really cool. And I know you know this too. It's kind of like this evolution, the way that I look at it from a pyramid's probably the wrong word, but you get really good at leading clients, and then you get really good at leading agents. And then the next step is finding, creating, and getting good at leading leaders.
Yes. Dude, how do you do that? Yo, tell me. I'm like hanging on to every word.
Yeah, dude. So it's interesting. About a year and a half ago, I started this leadership training program what initially was out of retention, because I had a couple agents being like, oh, I can run a team too. Like, I think I can do this. And it's like, okay, well, let me give you actually a peek behind the curtain and let me show you what it's like. And so I could genuinely show them like everything that we deal with, from looking at the budgets to the P&Ls to hiring, firing, training, onboarding, cost of certain things. That just like I wanted them to see that backside that nobody gets. And what ended up happening was it turned into a farm system of leaders. So Orlando, Miami, and Chicago, all those leaders came from this leadership training program that was born a year and a half ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's been really cool.
How
man.
often do you do that?
Every Monday morning from 8:15 to 9:30, I'll cover anything from, sometimes I'll do interviews within there. Sometimes I've even fired a person inside of that room, right?
What time in the morning is that?
Monday from 8:15 to 9:30.
Wow.
And these are people that have raised their hand and said, hey, I think I might want to run a team one day.
That's wild, man. That's really cool. And you're like, all right, this is what it looks like, because it's definitely not. I also believe, I'd love to hear what you think. I don't think, in my experience, leaders aren't born. They're like made. Like I've been through I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done the wrong thing a lot, and I'm trying to get there, man. But yeah, seeing those things, and then all the things they say, like leaders eat last and all that, like that's so true, man. It's not
Facts.
For everybody, and it's not, and I don't mean that, again, dude, I don't mean that like an ego way, but it's like, dude, sometimes it's just like,
it's facts, dude.
Yeah.
It's
you get
facts.
all this shit, and then like you get more of the shit, right? But like,
and it's hard, right? Like what it was 8 years ago, and when you started, like things were less expensive, right? Salaries have gone up, office expenses have gone up, leads have gone up, everything has gone up. And today, if somebody wanted to go out and start a team, like that's really hard, really, really hard. And they like the agent success rate is like 85%. Attrition in the first 2 years.
Yep.
Can you imagine what it is to run a successful team? It's probably way, way more than that from an attrition standpoint. And so I created this model that I could have people come in, show them how to run a team, be there, be their coach, be their mentor, and it's on a P&L model, and they have no upfront money, right? So they get all the upside with none of the risk. Wow. Right. And then I get to win with them.
Yeah.
Right. And so and there's also there's that vested interest, and it's been really, really fun to watch and grow. And we've kind of set a model, and we've proven it that we can continue to do this in more markets. Now I just need to find more people that raise their hand and say, I want to do this.
Yeah, I think you told this to me before we were talking, and I was asking you, like, the agents are probably the easier part to put together, right? It's that's the lead. You said that to me, I think, and when we were in San Diego. If you have a leader, and like, because with Zillow, right? Like you're a flex team and like all that stuff, like they will dangle the carrot, and you're like, and it's, dude, it sounds fun, sounds sexy, sounds fucking cool, right? But like, it's not that fucking cool unless you got somebody to run it. It's not that cool, dude, unless you want to get an airplane and go to Dallas or whatever. What was the tipping point for you guys, right? Like, I have so many questions. What was the tipping point when it's like, I have like 5-6 agents, and you're like, all right, this is kind of like going to grow and grow and grow and grow. And I think you had passed, when I met you, you were past that point, I believe. Like you had kind of getting like, well, I'm running a business now. And when I met you, you were like, you just were having, what I noticed about you is you were having very high level business conversations. Like you weren't, it was really great. But yeah, what would you say would be the tipping point in you building your real estate business with your team, then when it was like, oh dude, now we're on our way now, the sky's the limit?
Yeah, honestly, being super transparent, when I was at the Big Red, we'll call it, it was very market center driven, right? It was great. They showed me they showed me the door of building a team. But then at a certain point, you get too big, too powerful for any one market center. And listen, I got friends that are running massive operations at KW, so it's not a knock on them. My specific market center got in my way. They got in my way of growth. So, I started exploring options, and now my current mentor is the one who really opened my eyes to scaling, right? Like I didn't know what scale was. And we were just, honestly, we were bringing in agents that were coming into the market center, and the market center didn't like it. And then putting dollars and manpower and effort behind scaling, that's really what was the tipping point. So having somebody show me what that looks like, pointing me in the right direction, having that mentor I could lean on. We all have one. Mine's Robert Palmer. I'm sure, you have somebody different. It's just like, I knew what I got in real estate from, I tell people I got a double doctorate in real estate from the guy who trained me and mentored me. Then I needed somebody who could mentor me on the business side. And that's who that is.
Dude, I love it, man. Yeah, sometimes you just need that like it's almost like the 4 minute mile, right? Like you just gotta see it happen in front of your fucking face. Or not even. I just need the I need someone to tell me that it's possible, right? Because I won't think it's possible or whatever. And that's the cool thing about the rooms that you and I are lucky enough. I don't know. Maybe we're lucky. Maybe we worked our asses off. Maybe we fucking give back to the real estate. Yeah. Maybe we give back to the real estate community a shit ton, right? And we're nice to people. Yeah. But yeah, I think I like to say lucky because I like to stay in gratitude, right? But like, dude, yeah, the 4 minute mile thing is real. When I could see somebody do something and I'm like, what? You sold 500 houses? Like, what the fuck? That's happening on Earth, on this planet? Okay, cool, dude. Let's do it, and then it gets me like fired up. I think also, yeah, I worked at Keller Williams too, dude. It was the worst. It was like, and it was the worst until like I just was on a conversation with someone. It was like that's like, you don't have to say anything. I'll say it. It's like the antithesis of like over promising and under delivering, right? And then it was like, I'm like, yo, everyone was like telling you, and everything was theory. There's some broker or team leader who'd never done this shit before that was going to tell me what they heard people were doing or what they thought. Like expansion was the best one because I went there for expansion was like a sexy recruiting tool in 2013, 14, 15. And I went and then nobody was fucking doing it. And I'm like, well, who's doing it, man? Like, I want to do that shit, like yeah, it wasn't a thing. And I'm like, and then now when you look at like, it's no secret, right? Like we're brothers in the cloud-based brokerage world, right? Like the franchise markets, man, they have more in common with Taco Bell and Pizza Hut than they do with actually selling houses, right? And building businesses in real estate because they don't like when I realized like as an agent, when I capped at Keller Williams, I was fucking useless to that organization after that, right? Like I had no use to them and they had and it happened to me at RE/MAX too. At RE/MAX, I was working at RE/MAX when it was, I'm a little bit older than you, right? 2008, I got my license and I was at RE/MAX, and that's when RE/MAX was very landlord tenant, right? So like I paid a desk fee and I was on a 95.5 and then, so dude, like they got the money they were going to get from me. So like if I sold another house or 5 more houses, it didn't matter to them. And it's funny, I brought my broker at RE/MAX, I read the MREA book and I brought it to him and I was like, dude, I remember getting it in Barnes & Noble and sitting down just fucking reading it like in Barnes & Noble. I couldn't get up like a nerd. And then I was like, dude, I need an assistant. And he was like, bro, you can't afford an assistant or something like that, dude. And I was like, wait, what does this guy fucking know? What does this guy know? But that's cool, man. And then I wanted to ask you this. I want to go back to the leader thing. So you have these different locations. You have different leaders there. These leaders are good at sales, right? They're salespeople, right? How do you find the person that is going to be in the sales role and lead people when, I mean, quite honestly, they probably could go and sell, with price points now, they could probably go sell some houses. Maybe life's a little bit easier. Maybe they make more money. Like, how do you find that person and what are the qualities of that person that's going to lead a team like that and open up a new spot for you in a new area?
Yeah, dude, great question. Like, I think you and I both know the best salesperson isn't always the best leader. And while all these people have been great salespeople, I want leaders that have pros and cons. And the pros are they care a little too much, or the cons are they care a little too much. They love a little too much. They're a little too generous, right? They might work a little too hard. Like I'll give me those people that have those cons, and I can help. Sometimes it's an accountability thing. Like they're so nice and loving and generous. They might need work on holding people accountable, and that's a learning curve in itself. I remember it was tough for me in the beginning too. Like, give me those people versus the people that are, the best salespeople but in your face, or the dictatorship type leader. Like, that's just not our culture. Like, I want those people who love a little too hard.
Wow. That's great, man. I always say this. I'll explain to somebody. I was just doing this the other day to my business partner. I'm like, oh, this woman, she likes helping other people and cares other people. And like, I think she's for real. She doesn't just say it, right? Because everyone says it, right? When you're growing, I want to talk about growing pains, right? So like in production, right? In production, I think there's a reason why, we all get put in buckets, right? So like the $2 to $3 million agents, like their challenges, they probably need to find a listing. You're probably just working with buyers or something. You know what I mean? Like, the 8 to 10 million agents, they probably need to start hiring an admin or finding leverage, right? Like the $20 million agent, they need their time back. They're like about to get a divorce because like their spouse hasn't seen them in like 4 months and going to put them on a milk carton, right? Like missing. So like, can I ask you, when you're building a team the way that you said 140 agents, right? Are there what are the growing pains? Like, are there tiers like that in agent count and like certain pain points? I know this is like a crazy high level conversation, right?
Yeah.
But like, is that exist as well? And if so, what have you seen?
Yeah, I think it absolutely exists. We have agents on all different levels. We have agents that come to us and they just got their teeth kicked in from 23 and 24, and then they're having their best year ever now. There's agents that come to us brand new. There's agents that come to us that just sold 10 million. Like, I would tell you that I think what we look for is coachability over anything else. And one of the things that I've talked about a lot with my mentor, and it was really helpful for me to understand each individual, was we call it the IDOS, the individual definition of success. And in the beginning, as a leader, especially as a leader who did a lot of production, you're like, it's so easy. How do you not want it as bad as I do? All you have to do is work hard and try to get better every day. And then really understanding that their definition of success is not mine, right? So if they're hitting their goals, I want them to hit their goals, whether that be 15 houses or 40 houses, right? I need them to hit their goals, and it's my responsibility to do so. But if the 15 house agent doesn't want to do 25 or 30, now can I show them what that might look like and introduce it to them? Yes, but if I'm not going to move them off their needle too much, right? Like there's that. We've seen agents before where, and I'm sure you've seen it too, like an agent wants to call it $100,000 round number. They make it in 7 months and their foot is off the gas. You'll see them next year, right? Like, now is that the case all the time? No, but their individual definition of success, I'm not going to move it too much off of them. And sometimes it changes over the years, and a lot of times it's who you surround yourself with. But my job is for them to hit their goals as long as they're hitting our minimum standards.
What's IDS stand for? Individual
definition of success. That was something my mentor has continued to push into my brain over the last 3 years, and it's something we talk about on a regular basis.
I'm getting that tattooed on me. That's why I wrote it down and asked you. It's gonna be like on my neck, dude. Like, so you just talked about your minimum standards. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, man. I am not too proud to admit that we just implemented legitimate in writing minimum standards like 3 months ago for the first time ever in our business.
Bro,
right?
Hold on. Before you beat yourself up, I had a mentor say, so my team was like, this is not right now. If anybody on my team hears this, my team was like falling apart. Like I was like, just like about to walk into oncoming traffic. You know that feeling when you're like, dude, it's over. We tried our best, like, and so my mentor was like, Joe, Oz, do you have standards? And I was like, yeah, bro, of course I have standards. He's like, okay. He's like, and then he has access to our CRM. Like he's got access to everything. He's cool. So Mary can be on your team for 6 months without closing a transaction. That's one of your standards. And I'm like, He's like, Bob has 400 past due activities in his follow-up boss. Is that your, that's your standard? And he like destroyed me. And I was like, oh my God. He's like, because Mary, who hasn't sold a house in 6 months, she's probably not feeding her family. Have you talked to her recently? And I was like, oh my God, I don't have standards, right? So like that was a real eye opener for me. But go ahead, I cut you off. But yeah, don't beat yourself up, dude. I get it.
You're good, man. Listen, I'm not too proud to admit it. Better today than never, right? The ones we implemented were you are either going to do 2 deals a month, and in our world, that is you are going to get a buyer under contract or sign a listing. Things that happen from effort. And if you don't do that, the following month you will be making a minimum of 200 outbound dials a week. Right? So what that boils down to is you are either going to produce or you are going to work towards producing. Right? And we have some agents that get behind, right? They get focused on spending the checks they just made instead of making more. And I just talked to an agent yesterday. He's 600 calls behind. And guess what he's been doing the last couple of days? Banging out calls so he can get turned back onto leads. Right?
Yo, bro, remember when we were doing 200 a day?
I say the exact same thing. That's all I knew. That's how I was brought up, bro. Like, and that's probably why we got to a certain point in our careers to lead us to another point or another opportunity. But yeah, like I'm not trying to make the standards to where it's for me. It's really for them. And I think minimum, like I said, you were either going to produce or work towards producing.
Well, yeah, if the lagging indicator isn't there, then we got to work on the leading indicators, right? That just makes perfect sense, right? And so, and then also they kind of weed themselves out because they're like, I don't want to fucking make calls. Like, if you know what I mean, I don't want to make the calls, and then it's like, because dude, when you get to the size you are with the amount of agents you have, man, dude, there's putting pressure,
100%.
putting pressure. See, people talk about putting pressure on systems, but what they don't talk about is, people, your leadership is part of your systems. So those people put pressure on your most important people. And so we got to, what do they say, coach them up or coach them out? So understanding 100%. Those people, and that's back to IDS, right? The individual definition of success, right? And it's like, if you're not, you're hitting your goal, cool. I'm not here to make you do the thing I want you to do, right? But if you're not even hitting your goal, dude, you gotta bounce out. And that's the thing is like, dude, I turned around. Bro, I went from like 5 agents to 50 at Oz Group in like year 1 of having Flex, and like Zillow, they didn't know what they were doing. They're like you're the man, like, and it's like, and I'm like, I kind of am, and then like talk about not having standards. Dude, I had to like 6 months later, I was like letting terrorists on the airplane, like no TSA, no like, oh, do you have grenades? Get on, dude. Please sit in an exit row if you can. And it was like, dude, I don't know if you've ever seen that. Do you ever see Gremlins 2 when they like take over the building and like they're like swinging from the ceiling fan? They're like, that's what Oz Group was like, dude. It was like, I think I brought on 50 and offboarded like 35, and it was just like the most painful shit I had gone through. And that's another reason why the standards are so important. And now we have them, but like. Fuck, I don't even know how I got there. But yeah, I like let everybody. I was collecting licenses, man, and I wasn't looking at the shit that really mattered, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
It does put pressure on it. Like, number one, there's holding costs, right? Email addresses cost money. Seats in whatever systems you have cost money. But it's the things that cost, like you said, the time. Like my leaders, that feeling when you finally, like there's always those few small percentage point agents that just take up a lot of time and a lot of frustration because you're constantly trying to, go after them for why are you not making these calls? Why are you not doing this? Like you're so below minimum, and that is time the leadership is spent, and that's not fair to the other agents. And so like that's always the thought process. What is in the best interest of the collective? Is it for us to have a bunch of underperformers, or should we be spending our time with the people who are actually at least meeting themselves halfway?
Dude, that's awesome. One thing that was crazy to me is like I had a coach that drew up like thirds or whatever. Boom, boom, boom. He's like, where are you spending all your time? They're like, here. And I'm like, fuck, you're right. And then he's like, and by the way, when you're down here, these people are going here. They're like leaving. They're like, Joe's too busy for me. And I'm like, shit, they're right. What's the biggest, I have questions over here, but I'm going kind of off of them a little bit, but what are like the growing pains that you've seen? Like, what was the hardest part of scaling to where you've been, man? I think and let me just say this, man, where you're at, I don't know, dude, there's not a lot of teams doing, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you're top 20 in the country, right? There's not a lot of teams doing the amount of units that you guys are doing. What's like, okay, coach me, right? I'm coming for you, by the way. I'm gonna get you. But like on the way there, what are the roadblocks that like the teams that are doing 100 deals, 200 deals, what those teams that are like 50 deals, the ones that are coming up, what are the roadblocks, or like what a good leader is like, you know, you've been there. Like what's there that we haven't seen or that we should be expecting?
I think it's that financial J curve, if I'm being honest. Like, you know, you're not starting a business with no money, right? And then you start making money. And I will tell you, in November of 23, I was on the ledge, so to speak, where I'm like, wait a second. For the first time in my business career since I was 22, I was watching my bank account go down a little bit instead of going massively up.
Yeah.
And I remember being on the phone with my mentor and I'm like, bro, are you sure this is going to work? I'm doing everything you say. And I'll never forget this. And he said, if everyone was profitable through scaling, everyone would do it. But this is where most people quit. And I hung on. I hung on. And 4 months later, 2024 was an amazing year. 2025 is another amazing year. Like 2025 is going to be my best year. It's already my best year ever, and we're only 8.5 months through, right? Like it is getting to a point where now we can put some serious things behind, not just one market at a time, but now like what other ancillaries are we going to attach to this, right? You know, there's probably an acquisitions company coming soon. There's probably a property management company coming soon, right? Like that's like these are the fun things that happen. But yeah, that J curve, you know, because they call it the messy middle, right? You can be super profitable being small, lean and mean. You're not going to have a ton of overhead. But then you get to this point where you're at, you know, 30, 40, 50 agents and you have to scale and you have to start spending some money. You have to go invest into office space and systems and start understanding what that feels like. And you're not going to profit the same way as you would if you had 100 agents. But guess what, right? You don't have to scale your operations. It's not like you have to double your expenses as you double your agent count, right? There comes that certain point. And I think that was the biggest thing, you know, understanding that J curve. I was not necessarily mentally prepared for it, but I had mentor to back me up mentally, right?
Wow, that's good. Dude, thanks for being so honest, man, and vulnerable. Yeah. This is cool. By the way, I was super looking forward to this, man. I was looking for this conversation big time.
Likewise.
So the J curve, right? It's basically like pretend I'm a 5-year-old, right? Or 5th grader. So it's like I have money, everything's cool, I got reserves, I got whatever, and then it's like, all right, fuck, now I don't have money. Then you come back and then you start making money, right? That's the J curve that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like our revenue has always gone up year over year. Like during the J curve, our revenue was going up. But I was spending more money for probably like a 6-month period of time where I'm like, whoa, the expenses are getting out of hand. Now, some of it, looking back, I could have probably been like, I could have avoided that. But those are learning lessons, right? That's data collection. And I've always been good about making sure that, you know, we're not running on fumes or anything like that. I've been really smart with things like that, but thankfully I had the plenty of reserves to be able to go through that scale, right? And I think a lot of times most people don't even get to that point because they're spending as much money as they're making even through this, and they act like it's never going to stop. And scaling sounds cool, but then when they go to do it, they're like, oh shit. So, you know, if you're asking the advice that I'm giving for those teams that are at, you know, 5, 10, 20, you know, whatever it is, just be prepared for that J curve.
Wow. What is some stuff that you were spending? Is there stuff that you were spending money on and you're like, dude, we do not need this, right? Like also with like right now with like technology and all, every time you go to a conference, it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. What's some stuff that like, if you're growing, like some stuff that you could probably avoid putting it on your P&L if you can. That's not necessary.
You know, I think staff is always a good thing. I think having the right staff is the most important part, right? Like we've looking back, like I can probably say I kept that person too long. They weren't the right fit. I made a decision for the wrong reasons, right? You know, I hired somebody more like myself than just because I got along with them. You know what I mean? Like I think making the wrong hires that don't move the needle forward were a big thing. And then the systems, the shiny object syndrome that we all experience, like you know, during our audits, like you know, I think even as recently as 3 months ago, like I'm going through like, is this is this cool or is this moving us forward?
Wow. Yeah.
Right? Like I think you have to start asking yourself those questions. And like, bro, I'm gonna be honest. Like our overhead is probably $200,000 a month
Yeah.
on the real estate side. Like that's nothing to scoff at. Like I don't have the most overhead. That's not like something to brag about, but that is the cost of our operation on a monthly basis. Now, obviously, the flip side of it is you spend money to make a lot more money, but like that is the reality of the situation.
Thanks, man. That's awesome. I love it, man. Dude, while I'm pausing, is there any questions that I should have asked that I haven't asked yet?
I don't know, man. You know, I wish you and I got to spend more time together because every time we do, I feel like it just it feels pretty natural.
Oh,
You
dude,
know,
I'm gonna get an apartment in. Where are you? Are you in Orlando? Or are you
I'm
in
in
Miami?
Tampa, but
Yeah,
good news is my little sister lives out in Santa Monica, so I'm gonna
that's
be out
right,
there in a couple months.
dude. Yeah, you were there last year for Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah,
You and we, yeah, yeah, 100%. She's in. Are you guys? Where is she? Santa Barbara, Newport,
Santa Monica.
Santa
Yep,
Mon. Oh, easy,
yep.
bro. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna go surfing, dude.
I don't know about that, but I
Dude,
don't know if that's my flavor.
we did a the agent advisory board did an event in Newport, and everyone came out. And my buddy owns Newport Beach Surf School, so like I
Okay,
set up like the day before it started, I set up everybody up with like surf lessons, like
that's
able like,
dope.
and dude, everybody stood up, dude. Everybody stood up. We had fun. It was great, but that'll be good, man. Let me let me ask you about your personal life, dude.
Yeah,
What does your family look like, man? Kids,
yeah. Got
cousins.
Yep, I got a 3-year-old daughter. I got a fiance that I've been with for 7 years now. So she's been by my side watching on the come up. Beautiful baby girl that we have together. We are pregnant with our baby boy.
Whoa! Congrats.
Yeah, buddy. So
F yeah.
F yeah is right.
So
So
3-year-old and one coming, right?
what one in the chamber, baby.
Dude, that's so awesome, man. That's rad.
Yeah.
What does your daughter like to do?
She's a huge Ravens fan. I don't know where she gets it from.
That's so funny.
You know,
Tough loss this last week, huh? Damn.
dude, I don't know if you saw I paid some money to Kyle Whistle's charity. We'll put it that way.
Oh, I didn't see it. You guys are like betting on the side. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm not a betting guy, but he made it fun. He made it a charity thing, and it was cool. But yeah, that one was painful. She loves just to be outside, man. We spent 6 days a couple weeks ago in Breckenridge, and that was she likes to be in the mountains. She likes to hike.
Wow.
She likes to go swimming. Like we keep her pretty active, man.
At
She's like my
three,
little best friend.
she's like
Yeah.
cruising around. Dude, those are the. I have a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old. That like 3, 4, 5 phase.
Yeah.
Pretty sick, dude. Like that's when they're your buddy for sure. And
Yeah.
my dude, by the way, my 9-year-old, this is like I'm wearing his like gaming headset.
Yeah.
He'll come home. These will be like in my office. They'll be like, Dad, what? That's my gaming headset. And I'll be like, this, shut up, nerd. Do your chores. But yeah, he kind of wants to do his own thing, but my 4-year-old is like, dude, he wants to do whatever the fuck I want to do, right? Like, he's
Yep.
like, Dad, can we go? Yeah, it's the best, man. It's cool. What do you like to do for fun?
Man, I'm a big foodie, right? Like I'm not a splurger. Like that's not my thing. Like I'm always I'm a big believer in living below your means, and obviously as you climb, the means get nice. But I'm always living below my means. One thing I do like to do is I like to try good food. I got the Michelin app on my phone. We'll put it that way.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
What's the I come to your town. What's the Michelin spot that you think is like the best?
There's only a couple. Like, we're not LA, bro. it- Lilac is decent. There's a couple Asian spots that are pretty good if you're talking Michelin restaurants. But Tampa's really on the come up with food for sure.
Dude, that's
Definitely.
awesome. So I live in San Juan Capistrano. So we're like
Okay.
South Orange County, like an hour north of where you and I were in San Diego.
Okay.
Excuse me.
You're good.
In my town, they just opened up like a barbecue spot. It's called like Heritage Barbecue. It's very much, when like a barbecue spot opens and it's like sucks. It's like dry. Like it's not
Yeah.
very good. Especially if you've ever been to Texas,
I'm from Kansas City, bro.
Oh, okay. Totally. So like everyone's like, dude, there's barbecue spot. I'm like, yeah, right. I'm like, cool, And dude, they opened up. They're like, you can smell it throughout town. It's like legit, like they got a Michelin star, man. Like they're like legit.
Yeah.
It's been good. And I'm a local, right? Dude, there's a line around the block, but like
Yeah.
I know that on the website you can do takeout and just grab it at the window. So like there'll be like a line, and I'll just be like picking my kids up because my son's elementary school is 2 blocks away, and I'll just be like, yo, ribs, boom, and I'll just roll up and just grab the bag. People are like, what? And I'm like, that's what you get for being a local, man. Like, you ever like wait in line at the local coffee shop and then like some dude just picks it up with his app? You're like, oh, dude, I'm so dumb right now. Or like in the airport at Starbucks. Yeah, you're like, I'm so dumb.
Oh, the
right
airports
now.
are the worst, bro. Airports are the worst with that.
I'm like, I gotta do this, man. What? Okay, I'm gonna get personal. How do you take care of yourself, dude? Because I know that like you got to put yourself first, man. Like, is there any spirituality, any morning routines, exercise? Like, what are you doing to take care of like you?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to the gym specifically, other than like travel with my fiance. She got me in like running on treadmills and stuff like that. It was cool. I liked it. We did some group workouts when I was at the boardroom mastermind last week, which was really cool.
Nice.
Felt good. I stay active because I got a 3-year-old, bro. I'm constantly on my hands and my knees, and playing horsey. She's not riding on my back and rolling
Yep.
around wrestling. So I don't eat very bad either. Spiritually, bro, you mentioned therapy. Unless I'm traveling, which feels like a lot lately, but unless I'm traveling, I am at therapy in person every Wednesday at 8 a.m.
Nice.
for like the last 5 years.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I see it as it's this third party, unbiased, professional opinion that you can kind of unload some shit off of. And sometimes I'm like, man, I don't really have much to unload on you. But then other times I'm like, man, I'm really dealing with this. And I just, it's different than talking to your boys or talking to your friends or your mom or your dad, because everybody's got this bias. Like, I strongly believe in that unbiased third party opinion.
Dude, I love that, man. I just I send out like a newsletter or whatever, and I batch them. I'll write like four at a time, but they're like quick and simple and like from the heart, like real. Like I have like a no AI rule and all this. And the one today was about like, it was a picture of my kids going to school, and I like take them to school, and I was like, I think the topic was I refuse to miss these moments. And in there I talked about time blocking, right? But not like the way people usually talk about it. I talked about like, how should I say this? I guess prioritizing the things that fill up. It's like the oxygen mask thing, like prioritizing the things that fill up your cup, right? Because if you are doing well, you're going to show up as the best version of yourself for the people that depend on you and the people that you love, right? And in the message, I kind of like, I ranked it, right? So for me, it's like spirituality, God, right? Like that is number one. Then number two is mental health, right? Which is kind of the same thing, right? Yeah. And then the next one would be like physical health, like you just said, dude. I'm 46, bro, and like
that's awesome.
I gotta. Good, thanks, dude. I gotta stretch. I gotta drink water, bro. I gotta foam roll it out. Like I gotta do all that shit. I gotta sleep, And then the next was family, and then the next is job, money, career, right? And if I put any of that shit, like if job, money, career goes before that stuff, there's just this like, it just breaks, dude. Like it just breaks. But if I do all the other shit, it's the oxygen mask thing for me, man. So I think that is amazing, and that's super huge. And I also think like, dude, we don't talk to each other. We don't get like even like now, like you're vulnerable about your business, which like most fucking business people are. But in a lot of times in real estate, it's like, dude, like I don't want to call people liars, but nobody knows their numbers, and they don't necessarily know if they're telling the truth. Like, we also live in a world where people don't know what their tax returns said the year prior, right? And so, but if it's like, hey, dude, this is the challenges, and like you speak like a, the thing I like about you is you speak like you speak like a business owner. And I had a mentor once who would ask me business questions when I met him, and he's like, dude, is this the same guy with like, do you have standards? He's like, Joe, are you a business owner? I'm like, yeah. He's like, cool, man. Well, what were your cost of sales last month? And I'm like, what? And like, he had this thing where he was like, okay, if you want to say you're a business owner, you have to be able to talk like one, right? And he's like, if you go to a barbecue and you want to have he's like, he asked me, he's like, what's your goal? And I'm like, this guy, when he would talk to me, I would just be like, fuck, I don't know the answer. You ever have those ones? You're like, I don't know the answer. And he's like, and it was like, he basically said, if you want to be a business owner, you got to be able to talk like one. And if you want to learn how to talk like one, you'll become one. And then that's when he's like, if you go to a barbecue and you meet another business owner, like this right now, like I've earned the right to have a business conversation with you because I've done the work to actually know how to run a business and learn my numbers and things like that. And it's cool to be able to have a conversation with you because you do have those high business owner conversations.
I enjoy it, bro. I enjoy it. And I know you enjoy it too. Like, you ever get to this certain point where you're out with a couple people, or you're at the barbecue, or you're whatever, and it's like, okay, I can talk about sports because I love it, but as soon as the conversation changes and it's not about sports or family, there's business. And if I can't hold that conversation, I'm getting bored. I'm getting frustrated. Like, I want to have some substance. I want to be able to move forward. And that wasn't always the case. Like, in my younger years, I just wanted to go out and have fun. But now it's like, I want that substance. I want the conversations to feel like I'm moving forward.
Wow,
right?
That's awesome. Yeah, dude, 100%, man. And like, I want to be able to, it's also just like meeting people where they are, right? Is really important. Dude, I can't believe 50 minutes just blew by. I'm gonna get an apartment by you. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna go to like Dave and Buster's, like totally. We'll move in together. We'll raise our children together.
Got the extra room, bro. I got you.
What is you didn't know this question. I don't think you know this question was coming. What famous person have you met? I'm not talking about Jeremy Wilson.
That's my boy, bro. I enjoy talking to him.
He's another one, dude. He's really great guy. But yeah, what famous person have you met?
Yeah. So when I was 7 years old,
here we go.
I met Jim Harbaugh. When he was the quarterback for the Ravens. I lived in Baltimore till I was 9. So my mom took me to bring your kid to work day. So I met Jim Harbaugh. And what's cool about that is meeting him the year after the Ravens won their last Super Bowl. The Ravens played in Tampa in the preseason. Well, that day when I was 7, I got a hat signed. Fast forward, to when I was 22, whenever they won the last Super Bowl, I got that same hat signed by John Harbaugh, his brother, when they were both with the Ravens at way different times. So I got to meet both of them.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. What? Shit, I forgot that you. Did I ever tell you I went to go be a team leader in Baltimore for like 90 days? Like I spent 90 days in Canton. Yeah, in Canton. So I ate a shit ton of crab cakes, went to some fucking Orioles games, and I bounced because it wasn't for me.
No.
I was not for me.
There once a year for a Ravens game, but we make sure we see the water. We'll put it that way.
Dude, totally. That's a good way to put it. It's a cool fucking town. Like the history and all that shit. But I remember I was like, dude, this isn't for me. And then there was a joke about and by the way, I love basketball. I'm not a football guy, not a huge sports guy. I'm a big basketball guy. But when I would talk to people in Baltimore, I'd be like, dude, I think I'm not going to work here. I think I'm going to leave. And they're like, and they brought up help me out. What is it? The Colts? Like, didn't they like leave in the middle of the fucking night or something?
Yep.
Like, isn't there like a story where they're like, yo, they just bounced and didn't tell anyone?
Yeah, they got the trucks at midnight on camera leaving.
They're like, that's crazy. That's a real story, right? Like, but I was like, I kind of was like, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not gonna be. I'm like, we moved there. Quick story. We moved there. I rented my house out in Jersey. We moved, and my son was probably like 2 at the time, and I came in, and like it just wasn't the opportunity. The opportunity that was presented to me wasn't really what. It could have been my fault. Maybe I didn't hear him right, or whatever. But we were living in Canton, and like our car got broken into. Like first day we were there, and then bro, our dog just died. We just put our dog down, and we were like shoving everything in the car. Like, dog died. Well, we put the dog down. She had cancer. It was a little French bulldog, and bro, the fucking like remains and the paw print were like in the glove box. They like took that shit, dude. They took like fucking everything, and then like a week later, a kid got like shot on our block. My wife was like, she's from Orange County. I'm from the Jersey Shore. She's like, we're out of here. We're moving on to our next destination. We're not staying here and we were under contract to buy a house. Like we were buying like a row home or whatever. Because we're going to hang out for a couple years and build this market center up. And, at the time I thought 5% ownership at a market center was a big deal. I thought I was crushing it, dude. And, and my wife was like, can we leave? And I was like, yeah, we can leave. And that's how we just went straight to California. But,
I love it.
Dude, it was rad talking to you. Are you going to be at Unlock in Las Vegas?
I'll be there. I'll see you.
Sick. All right. I'm going to ping you. Thanks for doing this. This was awesome. Yeah. The more I learn about you, the more I learn about me, right? And that helps me, right? And so
absolutely.
I'm going to ping you outside of this. Let's do like a dinner or coffee or something in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that sounds good, man.
Cool, dude. All right. I'm going to end this thing now. I'll see you later.
All right, bro. I'll talk soon.
Bye.
Later. Bye.